Comment maintenant?
0 viewers, it's weird.
Chat avec Amanda.
Ouais. Okay, so hi everybody. I don't know if anybody's there. I don't see any viewers on the page, but I'll just assume that you're there. So if you want to start asking some questions over here on the Q&A on the right, please do. That way at least it'll confirm to me that I have people who are watching this. So thank you for watching. Thank you for coming and joining us on this Q&A today. We, as you know, we did a video explaining about the IT job market over here in Quebec, and we posted it on our Facebook. We'll be sending you the link after this. The IT market over here in Quebec is a pretty large subject, so introducing it to you briefly while we're doing videos and so on is nice, but for sure there's more questions that come from it. So that's the goal of the Q&A. And for this reason, we're going to keep this Q&A as a specific vehicle to answer the questions directly about the IT market in Quebec. We won't be answering any questions about immigration or any other topics such as how to prepare and so on. This will come with later videos that we will do, and they'll have the appropriate Q&A for those videos at those times. So for today, please take advantage of communicating with us. We're going to be talking, like I said, specifically about the IT job market in Quebec, which is Montreal, Quebec City. So we received a lot of participation, a lot of interesting questions. So we're going to start by answering some of those questions that we received in advance. As we're going along with these answers, please feel free to ask us if we don't have enough details, if you would like more details, if you would like something added. And we have my partner over here, Josiane, who's going to be watching as well, and who will answer any of those extra questions that you will have asked over here during this Q&A. So to get started, you had some really great questions, I would say. Many questions came back many times, and the main one, we'll start with the most important one. I won't keep you waiting. Je vous garderai pas dans le noir. The very first question that came up the most was, I would like to know about programming languages that are most sought out over here in the IT market. That's a great question, and it's one that we receive quite a bit. So the most common programming language that companies come to see us and they say, listen, do you have somebody who's qualified with this language? In no particular order, so I'm not saying don't take the order I give them as, well, it's most important and least important. They're all equally important, let's say. So it's .NET, C++, Java, JavaScript, PHP, mobile development, so that includes iOS and Android. Now, it's important to give a little extra specifications about these technologies. Just knowing this technology because I studied it in school, or I did a certification, or I worked with it during 3 months is not sufficient. When they're looking for knowledge of these languages, the market is really looking for experts. So they're looking for somebody who knows how to use this language and who knows it well. So the complexity of the projects that you've worked on is going to be extremely important. How deep you can go into a language is extremely important. So generally, just knowing that language is not enough. You're going to need at least 3 years of experience. Those who will have the most opportunities will have one of these technologies with 5 years of experience and more. That's usually the two main determinants of success. Now, another important factor that comes into play is if you have a bachelor's degree. If you have many years of experience and you've worked on many complex applications and you don't have a bachelor's degree, that could be fine. But as a general rule, your profile is stronger if you do have a bachelor's degree. Then finally, communication. Even if it's programming, and programming doesn't require as much communication as other languages, the market is not looking for programmers who can perfectly communicate. the market is really looking for individuals who can go to a meeting, understand what's being said during a meeting, and can communicate what they want to say during that meeting. That's basically what it comes down to. Now, of course, the better you communicate, the more you can present yourself, and the more you can feel like yourself, the more confident you will become, the more colleagues you will be close to, and the better you'll be able to develop yourself, integrate, develop your career. So communication is extremely important. Do you need it to begin working in your field? To a certain level, yes. But the better you communicate, the more success you will have down the line, that's for sure. Talking about programming languages is important. So as I want to make sure that I mention that the complexity of which languages is extremely important. Working on mobile platforms is great. Web platforms, desktop platforms. These are all platforms that are very popular over here. Sorry, Suzanne?
Mobile.
I said mobile, yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much what the market needs. And make sure you have 3 years of experience and more, but ideally 5 years of experience and more with that specific technology. Next question. So I kind of answered that. I got ahead of the game a little bit. Was what's the importance of a bachelor's degree or of a certification? Well, like I said, the bachelor's degree is a really, really great asset, especially if you have only, let's say, 4, 5, 6 years experience. You have some individuals who have been working for so long that, the bachelor's degree won't be as important, but generally it's going to give you a really good advantage on the market. Certifications are very important. Well, I wouldn't say very important, but they're a great asset. Certifications are something that give employers over here confidence that, wow, they really do know what they're talking about. Because unfortunately, sometimes the employers here don't know how things are done in different countries, don't know that Brazil has such a fantastic IT market, that has such a fantastic universities that teach it like an art almost. They don't always know this. And so having an international certification, so whether it's a Microsoft certification in some cases, or a Linux, or so many others, as long as it's the certification that's given directly by the vendor, so Microsoft, et cetera, Sun for Java or whatnot, that's what's important. So it's not going to make a huge difference, I would say, but it does give you a very good tool in your tool belt. We received some questions regarding specific technologies as well. So somebody wanted to know about Ruby. Ruby, I think, is a technology that is a little underused in the Quebec market. If you are a good Ruby developer, you will have opportunities here. I mean, you have to be pretty good generally to be a good Ruby developer. So that's going to be something that is good. I wouldn't say it's one of the leading technologies, but it's good. We have I'd say over the past couple of years, we have a very strong emerging culture of startup companies. And those are generally the companies that are using Ruby the most. And with the emergence of these companies over the past 2 years, there's a lot more Ruby going on. So it is emerging, it's good. It's not yet as strong as all the others that I've mentioned, so Java, C++, .NET, JavaScript, PHP, etc. But it is emerging, and yes, there's a good market for it. Proprietary systems, so les systèmes propriétaires. I would say that these are a little bit tricky. Generally, you have to understand about the recruitment process over here in Quebec. Generally, when you've sent your CV to a place, the first person that's going to look at the CV before the IT manager is going to be human resources. And human resources is looking for specific keywords. So let's say you have a proprietary system. You've worked on a proprietary system that uses many technologies that are similar to the ones that are popular over here. The human resources person will not be able to see that. They're looking for keywords. So proprietary systems are okay, but it's a risky proposition. I wouldn't say you're in the best situation if you only work with proprietary systems, because you're going to have to prove to the market what you know. Whereas if you know the already proven languages, then a big job of that proof is already made. Right? Before I continue, I just want to make it a point to let you know that the market over here is very favorable to international professionals. You shouldn't be afraid because you haven't worked here or you don't have Canadian experience. You shouldn't be afraid that you won't have much of a chance over here, because that's completely false. We have many great professionals who have come from all over the world who have never worked in Canada and who get really amazing positions. And that's why we're here today. So that you can understand what's important and properly prepare yourself. And we're going to receive that through other Q&As and other videos. So is everything going well so far? Are you following me? Maybe you can let me know that the pace is good. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. If you'd like to have me speak in French. Yeah? So far is all good? Non, c'est parce que tu parles pas. So, okay. So if I don't have anybody telling me that I need to slow down, I'll assume that I'm going at a perfect pace. Certifications, we already covered certifications. They're a great asset. They're not going to be as important in determining your success as your years of experience and your technology, but they do give you a great boost. Someone wanted to know about Linux. Linux is a great field. If you're a Linux administrator, Linux administrators are very high in demand. So yeah, it's a great field. There's a lot of Linux opportunities and not many Linux professionals compared to the number of opportunities. So if you're strong with Linux, you're in a good situation. So whoever asked that question, good news. Going down the list. So we have mainframe. Now, mainframe, I'd say, is probably something that is a little bit more popular in Quebec City than Montreal. Quebec City's main IT driver, as we explained during our video, is really based on government opportunities, and so on. And those huge systems are much slower to be updated, and they use older platforms such as mainframe, COBOL, etc. So if that's what you're doing, it's not the most popular. Unfortunately, it's gotten old, especially with the emergence of the cloud. It's gotten old. In Montreal, it's difficult to find, they're there, but it's difficult to find these opportunities. In Quebec City, it's a little bit more prevalent, so that's probably where your best bet would be. But if it is Quebec City, you work on your French. That's as simple as it is. In Montreal, whether you speak English or French, you will have opportunities. Quebec City, if you don't speak French, you don't have a job. It's not complicated. Okay, so continuing on. How's everything so far? Yeah? Okay. So someone asked how the IT market for iOS developers. So we already mentioned that at the beginning of the meeting. iOS developers, Android, mobile development is great. But you can't just know it because you studied it on the side like everything else. You have to have actually worked with it. Okay. Just give me 1 second. There, I introduced you all to Josiane. I was testing some things. Please excuse the delay. I'm still getting familiar with this platform. Okay, so continuing. Thanks for your patience. SAP. We had a lot of questions about SAP, and to be honest about SAP, we know there's a market for SAP over here in Montreal. Unfortunately, it's not something that we've worked extensively with. So our knowledge as for SAP, in order to really give you the proper advice, is limited. We haven't worked with it that much, but we do know that it is there's good opportunities for SAP in the market. But unfortunately, we don't have the level of expertise or experience with SAP necessary to give you the proper specific popularity of the technology. But there are opportunities here. I mean, there's an SAP company that's over here in Montreal, so that tells you something about that. Agile, great question. Agile and Scrum are one of the main ways of working over here. So if you have worked with Agile, Scrum, etc., make sure to mention that, to make it obvious in your CV, in your experience, to talk about it during interviews, because that's one of the main ways of working over here. And it is very, it's you'll see, if you want to look at job descriptions, you'll see many job descriptions that ask for Agile, ask for Scrum, etc. Again, it's rarely a requirement, but it's a really great plus. Business intelligence, that's a big question. Business intelligence can be done on so many different technologies, whether it's Oracle, Microsoft, Excel. Business intelligence can be done in so many different ways. But generally, good business intelligence analysts and business intelligence developers who have worked in large structures, who really have a lot of experience. Again, it's going to be very, you have good opportunities. Just make sure, again, with this type of profession, that your communication is at a decent level. Especially if you're going to be a business intelligence analyst, you have to make sure that your level of communication is at least strong intermediate. I would even say advanced. If you're doing business intelligence development, you still have to speak with different people generally. So, you still have to have good communication. Not amazing, like for a business analyst or a project manager, but good. Infrastructure, network, and security. So, again, infrastructure professionals, you have to, we spoke on our video, we spoke about the importance of large organizations over here in the market. So whether it's banking, telecommunications, government, or other, these are very large structures that have really complex infrastructures. And to have somebody who is really great with infrastructure, again, there's not that many in the market. And so if you're an infrastructure professional, you will have many opportunities. Architecture, design, etc. is, that's one of those the top opportunities that's available. Even support, if you're a support analyst for infrastructure, we need you, the market needs you as well. So that's a great one for you. Network administrators, I would say there are many network administrators already here in the market. So there's many opportunities, but I wouldn't say it's one of the hottest professions. Of course, if you're a good network administrator, there is place for you here, but I wouldn't say that the market is as hot, as popular, as strong as with, let's say, a network designer. That's a different story. If you're a network designer, a network architect, or have worked on very, very, very complex networks, that's very popular. But just a network administrator is a little bit more difficult to get in, although if you're good, there's going to be opportunity. But it's network design, network architecture, that's where most of the opportunities in that field will be. Security. Security professionals, they love you over here, so congratulations. If you're a security professional, there's many opportunities, but again, that's one of those professions that you need to have good communication, because one of the roles that comes with security is communicating with many different people in order to understand the needs and so on and so forth before you can propose solutions. So anything that's security related is pretty great. Just make sure that you have proper level of communication. Okay. Our final question was regarding business analysis. Business analysis, again, good business analysts that have understanding of very complex environments, that have more than 6 years of experience, there's a great place for you. But that's one of those professions that you better make sure that your communication is advanced. If your communication is just, good or intermediate, you're not going to get a job as a business analyst, or it's going to be very difficult to. One of the main aspects of business analysis, before anything, is speaking with different people and getting proper feedback, getting requirements, taking requirements, understanding. So being able to get people's buy-in, communication is extremely important. So yes, if you're a business analyst that has more than 5-6 years of experience in complex environments, there's a great place for you here as well, but make sure that your communication is your priority. So, okay, I feel like I just did a test. These are all very good questions. I'm going to look a little bit on the questions that you've asked over here, the extra questions that we have in the Q&A. It looks like we have some good extra questions. And let me hit some of those. So, somebody asked about, let me see, data scientists and data analysts. Well, big data is really one of the more emerging things. I think not only in the Quebec market, but also in the world. Big data is coming. It's already here in many ways. And it's not something that people have been preparing for, really. So data analysts, data scientists, you're in. you have a great chance. That being said, the opportunities are still emerging. It's a field that isn't really constant yet. It's coming a lot more with the startups, with the new companies. These are new practices. So data scientists and data analysts, it's emerging still. It's not at its peak. There are great opportunities, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't hit its peak yet. So it may be a little bit more difficult at the beginning to find these opportunities. I hope I'm not contradicting what I said before. I just want to make sure that we understand where it's from. It's emerging and there are opportunities, but it's still emerging. So yes, but more to come. Next question was regarding software testings. So if you're a software tester, like that does Q&A, that's good, but it depends. If you just do manual testing, there's going to be a lot of competition. Many people do manual QA, quality assurance, manual QA, and that's a little bit more difficult to get those opportunities. Usually there's a big tendency here or a big demand for automation, test automation. If you can do test automation, then yes, there are many opportunities for you. Those who are one of the positions that is the most difficult to fill over here, that if you can do it, you're pretty much assured to have a job, is test development, QA developer. If you can do that, then you have a really strong place in the market. Next question, Josiane, do we have any more questions?
Someone wants to know if the market is more business-oriented. Support for all system, development of solution to business.
I'm not sure I understand that question.
The development of the application, if it's business-oriented. Yes, it is. We're not user.
Hey, do they see you? Are you able to answer?
No, they don't see me.
Hold on. Josiane seems to better understand this question than I do, so let me just get her on. I'm gonna make sure I know how to use this. Give us a second, please. It won't be long. So what was the question? I just want to make sure everyone hears it.
What? Could you explain if the market is more business-oriented, support for all systems, development of solution to business?
Okay, here you go. Here's our lovely Josiane, one of the most qualified IT recruiters that I know, and we're lucky that she's abacus. So she's gonna repeat the question that was asked, and she's gonna give you the answer. No, you're good. Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to meet with you. The question was, let me see again on the question. Could you explain, please, if the market is more business-oriented, support for all system, development of solutions to business? If I understand well the question, if the person thinks that I'm not answering really the question, let me know. But I'm more seeing this question as if the company are developing application, or doing development, or doing things for as business oriented. And I would say that yes, most of the company over here are developing, are doing things for businesses. We are a business oriented market, I would say. Let me check if I have other question. I see people asking question about professional references, about CV, about everything that covers a bit more the profile. We will have other videos, other Q&A meeting like this that will cover that subject. So I will put aside those questions for next time, but don't be worried, is an area that we will cover for the future for sure. Let me see if we have other question. I think we covered all the questions related to the market. So David, it's up to you to.
Okay, so that's about. Hi. So those are most of the questions that were related to the IT market over here. We've done our best to answer them. I hope that they were clear. This is our first Q&A that we've done with anybody, and we've done it with you today. So any feedback that you have will be extremely important. If you have follow-up questions, please feel free to share them, and hopefully we can add those to any future webinar, any future Q&A. I understand that the Quebec market over here is a little bit difficult to figure out, and hopefully some of the information that we're giving you is helpful for you and allows you to better understand it. But like I said, any feedback you can give us regarding what you've experienced today will be extremely helpful for us to get better and to continue to offer you whatever can help you get your career started properly over here in the Quebec market. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. It was an honor for us to play a part, maybe even a small part, in your career, in your future career, hopefully. We invite you to keep in touch, and we'll see you next time. So, merci. À la prochaine. Before I say bye, I have my consultant over here who's telling me that I've forgotten things. So I'm not gone yet. You haven't gotten rid of me yet. So I just wanted to mention that this video is being recorded. So if you've missed something, you think you came in late or want to see something, you can go on our YouTube channel and you can see it from there. I invite you also to go to our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and any new information will be given to you. Let me just share some of those links with you. That's our Facebook page. Here's our Twitter. Okay. And yeah, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, come visit our page on YouTube, and help us help you. Like I said, I mean, we know a lot about the market here, but we don't know everything. We know what you guys are looking for, but we don't know everything. So let's do it all together. Visit us often, ask us your questions, give us your feedback, and help us get better so we can better help you. So that's it for today. We look forward to seeing you next time. All right, bye-bye. For real this time.